Good afternoon and welcome to another Working for You program. I am Les Roy Williams. Thank you very much for joining us for our program today. As usual, your company is appreciated from week to week as we continue to bring you information with respect to what is happening in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Today we are going to be having a discussion on, I would consider it to be the most important topic, that of education. Education is what makes us who we basically are. And I have with me officials from the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, our prestigious tertiary institution that educates so many of our young people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And of course, you know, with education, education is what brings about change. Brings about change in us first and also in the world, in the society in which we live. Today we are going to be having a discussion on the upcoming academic year at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, 2022 to 2023. I have with me on the panel the Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs, Dr. Moya Rotham. Welcome, Dr. Rotham. I also have Mr. Randolph Taylor, who is representing the Division of Teacher Education, and I have Mr. Andrew Abraham, who is the Dean, actually, of the Division of Technical Vocational Education and Management Studies. Later, we will be joined by Ms. Laverne Brooks, who is the Dean of the Division of Arts, Sciences, and General Studies. And also we'll be joined by Ms. Wanda Hughes, who is the Dean of the Division of Adult and Continuing Education. So I want to begin with Dr. Rotham, who is the Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs, and who at this time as well, I must mention, is the one holding the reins at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, as there is no president at this time. The search is on for a president of the CFBC. Dr. Rotham, I know that there are important announcements that students must be aware of, parents and so on, with respect to the upcoming academic year. Could you enlighten us on some of those announcements?
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Upcoming academic year, there are a number of plans that, of course, some of them are constant, but there will be a number of changes. One such change pertains to the dates related to student advisement and the start of teaching, and this would have been as a result of the delayed start of the CXC examinations. So we just want the public to be aware of the changes, because persons may be accustomed to the general operations taking place within a certain time frame. College officially opens for academic year 2022-2023 semester 1 on the 22nd of August. We will be having divisional advisement sessions and registration for incoming and returning students from Monday, the 22nd of August to September 2. As it relates to teaching, all divisions will not begin teaching at the same time for all students, because as I would have said, we would have been affected by the delayed start of the CXC examinations, and we want to ensure that we begin with the appropriate way forward in terms of getting results and ensuring that things are in order. So as it relates to all students within the Division of Health Sciences and Teacher Education, and I say all, these are new students and returning students, teaching will begin on September 5, Monday, September 5. On Monday, September 5, we also see teaching beginning for returning students in the divisions of TVEMS and ASGS. So I want persons to get that understanding of incoming students who would be the new students, returning students who are students who would have been there prior to this academic year. So teaching will begin for new students in the division of TVEMS and ASGS on September 12. So we see that there is a 1 week time span between the beginning of teaching for the returning students and the incoming students for the divisions of TVEMS and ASGS. Now, I want to make reference to a very sensitive topic, Mr. Williams. You know, this is a topic that sometimes sparks public debate, and it is that of the wearing of the uniform. Now, I want to appeal to those of us who are into research and looking for ways to use data to drive our actions. And so I point to, you know, for those who may say that we are seeking to enforce discipline, it's not just a matter of discipline, but Frederick and Shanks 2021 make reference to using uniform for students to fashion themselves into respectable and employable future adults. And this is the trajectory that we are on at the CFBC. We do understand what has been happening over the years, and we are reaching out to the public as it relates to parents, employees, persons out there in the public sphere, just to support the college in the enforcement of its uniform policy. All students are expected to wear the uniform as stated in our uniform policy, and this will be shared with students. All students will be they are expected to be in full uniform as of the 20th of September 2022. You may ask, so what about the students who are coming in and registering, having to go to class, etc.? You are expected to wear, for females and males, you are expected to wear a white school shirt along with a black or blue long jeans pants, nothing that is distressed, nothing that is cut or torn. We expect you to present yourselves respectfully at the college. We are asking that parents and guardians support the college in its endeavors. We would have been on your program before, Mr. Williams, speaking about employability skills. And this is just one aspect of it. We can't go into the National Bank any old way. We can't go and report for duty at the Defense Force dressed any old way. So we are just trying our best to ensure that our students, when they leave the CFBC, that this is just one aspect to help to mold them into the citizens that we know that they can be. As it relates to admissions and application, the application process is still opened. So this is we are now in early application, and we will end that. That process will end on the 31st of July. The application fee is $35. All applications are accepted online. You go to cfbc.edu.kn, you click on enrollment, and you will see the drop box, and you click on apply now. The 31st of July, that ends the early application period. The late application period begins on the 1st of August, and this continues to the end of August, the 31st of August. And the application fee during this time is $85. So, of course, the early bird catches the worm. So, it is advisable to move early, but if not, there is still an opportunity with an added cost, of course.
Okay. Interesting that you mentioned the wearing of the uniform at the college, because the uniform, when people see you in uniform, it identifies you to a particular institution. And people's behavior, for example, in town, down in Independence Square, or wherever they are, and they have that uniform on, and they are behaving in a despicable manner, it reflects on the institution. Some people believe that, there are some community colleges where people don't have to wear uniforms and things like that. I suppose there are some of those cases, but in this case, it is a requirement and people must wear the uniform well, recognizing, I think, that they are an ambassador at the college, and that whatever they do must reflect well in terms of the students that are attending the college.
Yes. Yes, so this is why we are insisting, and as I said, it is not just about the discipline, but it is, as you say, it is branding, and it says much about the institution, and so we do understand, but we are hoping that the students will grow to understand that the onus is on them to clad themselves well, because of course they are representing the institution, and so it is just a way for them to tell their story as it relates to how they decide to fashion themselves into the respectable adults that they can be, into the employable individuals that they can be, to enhance the aspirations of the Federation. So it's not just about CFBC, it's about the Federation at large.
Yes, it's about the bigger picture. Now, Mr. Taylor, you are representing Dr. Joycelyn Archibald Pennyfeather, who is the Dean of Division of Teacher Education. What can you tell us in terms of the programs that are available and the course prerequisites at that division?
First, I would like to apologize for Dr. Pennyfeather, who had a previous engagement. The programs offered in the Division of Teacher Education are all franchise programs from the University of the West Indies Cable campus. They were composed and developed by the Joint Board of Teacher Education. That is, the Joint Board consists of ministry officials from the OECS and Barbados. So all of the standards and requirements were set by the Joint Board. So we are just delivering those programs according to those set standards. The programs we would be delivering are the associate degree in early childhood education, in primary education, and in secondary education, both normal secondary education and TVET education. We would also be offering the postgraduate diploma for secondary education. The requirements for entry are simple. Basically, for the associate degree, we expect 5 CSEC subjects, and those subjects are the core of our curriculum. So we expect persons to have CSEC in mathematics, English, social studies, and science, and one other. For the postgraduate diploma, we expect you to have a degree in a specialized field. There are 2 ways of entry into the program. You have mature entry, and you have the qualifications. So for mature entry, and that is really for the associate degree, we are saying, the joint board is saying that if a teacher has been practicing for 5 years and is over the years of 30, they can enter without the required CSEC subjects. However, the persons would have to go through the same program and meet the standards.
Right, Mr. Taylor. What are some of this? What is the structure of these programs? I know sometimes you have the theory component and then you have practicum and so on. Could you explain a little bit with respect to that?
Well, both programs that would be offering has a theory structure for the associate degree. It is 66 credits, comprising of foundation courses and instructional courses. When I say instructional courses, those are the courses that the student teachers would be expected to deliver in the classroom. There is a practical component that lasts for 10 weeks. To qualify for the practical component, the teachers would have to pass or gain credits in all of the instructional courses. Huh? For the postgrad diploma, again, the practicum is 10 weeks, and again, they would have to pass all of the credits. There are 30 credits for the postgrad diploma.
Now, what is the admission process?
Well, you have an application. We are in the final stages of receiving applicants, and we're in the process of looking at those applications. If you have the qualifications, you apply. And remember, I just said whether it is you're applying as a mature entry, you're over 30, having taught 5 consecutive years up to this point. So it cannot be you taught 2 years some time ago and then you come back and teach 3 years. It must be consecutive before you apply for entry into the program. And you apply, if you have the other qualifications, then you can just apply straight to the college. But I just want to suggest that you have the responsibility to sort out your own affairs, etc., etc. So if you're working, you have to inform you should inform your employer, etc., and make sure you have the funding, etc. Because we have had programs apply and then have issues. So it is best to tell your employers of your intention, because you remember, be reasonable. The employers have to plan for you. You have to be replaced in the classroom if you're coming from the classroom. And I just would like to say that you can apply straight from secondary school if you have the qualifications, or from wherever.
Right. Mr. Taylor, I know that the divisions, they have certain expectations. Of course, we can speak in terms of the expectations that you have for excellence in terms of academic work and so on, but there are other expectations that the division has in terms of the students, what is expected of students. Could you expound a bit on that?
Well, we expect you to be attending the program. So you have to be in attendance for at least 80%. And whether it is face-to-face or online, we expect you to be there over 80%, okay? For at least 80% to qualify to write the exam or to pass the course. We also expect you to do the assignments, do the work, do the research, because the program is very taxing on persons, especially persons who have not been in the classroom for a while. Okay? So you're expected to come prepared, to have your laptops, etc., so that you can do the work. Because we have persons in the class who say, well, they have a problem, they don't have the time, they don't have that. So you have to give yourself the time. So we're asking you to plan properly, have the necessary resources. In the advisement session, we would further advise as to what is needed and what can be achieved to the student services, etc. But I expect that persons would come prepared for 2 years of study, 2 years of serious study.
Which means that, you know, we are taking into consideration here students' responsibility, accountability, their dedication, you know, their desire to achieve what they actually set out to achieve and to set goals to achieve, you know.
Yes, you have to be accountable. It is an adult program. You can come in at age 18, 17, 18. So we expect you to take responsibility for your action, for your work. We expect that your work would be your work, by and large. We expect that you would turn in your assignments, you would come to classes, you would do the assignments as given. You would seek advice, seek whatever services you need. We have a support system in place. Each student would have an advisor to guide them through the program. Okay? The advisor does not mean they're going to seek financial assistance for you. There's a student services that do that. Okay? So we would advise you accordingly. Each person would have an advisor, but we expect you to be responsible for getting your work done, responsible, 80% attendance in classroom. It can be taxing. There is going to be at the end, the last semester is a teaching practicum, and we expect you to be able to negotiate and navigate your way through that, but we are there to help you. I personally is presently the coordinator of the teaching practicum, and we give you support at the college. It is a program which we intend for you to teach, so we work with you in your lesson planning, we work with you in your delivery, even when you're in the schools on your practicum.
Right. Now, Mr. Taylor, what is the importance of teacher education? Somebody actually enrolling in the division of teacher education to be trained as a teacher. Of course, you know, we have persons who teach, but they have never had any sort of a teacher education, teacher training. So what is we are talking in terms of the currency of the program, how students can actually use their certificate to actually move forward. Could you tell me?
Well, teaching is a professional career, and in all professional careers, you're expected to be trained. Okay? So the best case example is that you're trained even before you attempt to teach in the classroom, but that is not necessarily the practice in the region. But we expect you to be trained, because imparting knowledge and teaching students is a very responsible duty. Okay? So we would inform you, we would try to instruct you, try to train you to teach and to do the best. Because when we look at teaching, you're actually teaching. All you may be put in front of the class, your responsibility is to teach each individual student in the class, because we know students would be at different levels, so we expect you to be able to use the technique of differentiation. So we teach you all of these techniques so that you can practice them in the class. We do not only teach you, but they mock practices, we guide you, we go out in the field with you to ensure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. So it is really a training program. It is a clinical training program where we follow you every step of the way, right until your final examination. So again, it just depends on you to be responsible and accountable for your actions, and to show up and be there and do your best.
Right. Now, Mr. Abraham, you are the Dean of the technical vocational education and management studies. There's a lot of focus placed today on technical and vocational education, and rightly so. Because once ago, there was a kind of a thinking, as warped as it was, that you have the bright students, those that, are more academically inclined, bookwork and a lot of theory and all of that, and that they go on to be lawyers and doctors and things like that. And that people who are somehow mechanics, they're involved in the hands-on thing, that they are not so bright. So could you tell us a little bit in terms of the division of TVE MS and some of the programs that are available, the course prerequisites, and the importance of actually having, as I mentioned before, a technical vocational and education and management training?
Mr. William, thank you very much again for having us on this program to be able to share with the community as to what is happening at CFBC TVEMS. But I would also like to take this opportunity to give a shout out to our faculty, staff, and students for the excellent work that they would have done over the last academic year. So we'd just like to say thank you and show appreciation, and to our students who are out there on summer break, some of you who would have recently left and are out there seeking employment or thinking about moving on to colleges and universities. Just giving a big shout out to each one of them in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Again, at TVEMS, it is that time of year where we are preparing to welcome our prospective, students, eventually becoming students of the Clarence Fitzgerald College. And we are encouraging persons to take the opportunity now, given that we are in the early application stage. It is cheaper, and it is the time when you would be upfront, so to speak, whereby your application is in early. You are most likely to be considered in cases whereby we have programs that have a limit. So we want to ensure that you act early and don't wait until it's too late. So then you find yourself in a situation whereby you are either refused from entering the program, not because you're not qualified, but because there is a limit. So we have at the division 11 programs that we offer training to our students in different areas, and I would list these programs. Agriculture studies at the associate degree level for those persons who are interested in agri-technology, agri-science, and agribusiness. We also have the architecture design technology program, which we offer at the associate degree level. We have our electrical and electronics program we offer at the associate degree level as well. And what I would do is just continue listing the associate degree programs. We have culinary studies and hospitality studies, but we also have a certificate in hospitality and culinary studies that we offer, and that's a one-year certificate program. We have our information technology program. We have our office administration program, which is, we commonly call it the business program at TVEMS. Then we also have motor vehicle technology, we have refrigeration and air conditioning, and we also have timber vocation. Now, timber vocation is offered at the diploma level. So we have 9 associate degree programs, 1 diploma, and 2 certificate programs that we are currently offering at the division. All these programs have different entry requirements. We accept students at TVEMS by program that have their specific entry requirements. Let me start with architecture design technology, for example. That program requires students to have math, physics, technical drawing, and also physics. Now, we understand that not all of the high schools offer physics. So what happened is, in a situation like that, where a student may apply to the program, and he or she may have math, technical drawing, and English, that student can be considered for entry, but they will be done on a provisional basis. But what we do at the college is we offer a Fundamentals of Physics course. The student, once accepted into the program, must take that course in the first year of their study. So for persons who are thinking about architecture, design, technology, and you may have that, you may be in that bracket where you're not, physics were not available at your high school, we're still encouraging you to apply. But what we're saying is that once you get to the college, you must take the Fundamentals of Physics course so that you can meet that matriculation requirement for the program. Now, a course such as, a program such as culinary certificate, now the entry requirements will be different from the associate degree. So for example, a student who would want to enter into that program would only need 2 subjects. And we also cater for persons who are in the industry as well, so 2 years experience. Now, all of our programs have the matro entry clause, whereby once you are 25 years and older, you can apply to the program and be accepted into that program. We are requiring you to submit a CV, and in some cases supporting evidence that you were working in a particular industry, and you would be definitely considered for entry into all of our programs as a mature student. Now, I would also like to single out the Office Administration and Management Studies program. We have what we call a part-time program, or the OADM evening program, where we offer training to students on a part-time basis, persons who are fully employed or probably looking to reskill. That's a program that you can access. And again, we find a lot of mature persons accessing that program who are currently employed and may not have the required subjects, again, to enter into the program. That program, the requirement to get into it is 4 subjects, including English. Okay, just 4 subjects, including English. So English is a compulsory subject there. For the other program, for example, information technology, where you're required to have English and math, and information technology as well. But there are other programs where you're not required to have maths and English. For example, automotive technology, electrical and electronics, timber, refrigeration, and so on. So those courses, those programs, as I said earlier, the entry requirement varies, and we actually look at entry based on program at the division. Just to share more information about the programs that we offer at the division, our programs have what we call a practicum component to it, all of our programs. So students will be required to do a 6-week attachment at business or some organization within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, which is part and parcel of your program. So all of our programs, we have that practicum aspect of it. Again, it is a very good thing for our students, because what it do, it give you a foot into the business world, whereby you would get that hands-on experience to prepare you for the world of work. But also understand that all of our programs at the division offer courses that give you college credits as well. So for students who are looking at accessing programs on their path to college and university or higher level of certification, or programs are structured so that students who are looking to get credits transferred to higher institution of learning. I hope that I was able to provide as much information as possible, and I did not forget anything, but in case of our students with the uniform code at CFBC, you are required to adhere to that. I know our Vice President spoke about that earlier. So it is part and parcel. Our part-time students, though, they are not required to do so.
Right. Now, Mr. Abraham, you mentioned something in terms of those who are entering the auto mechanic program, that it's not a prerequisite for them to have English But while it's not a prerequisite for them to have English to enter the program itself has some component of English, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because it's important, because they may have to write a proposal, they may have to do an accident report, they may have to do an evaluation or something like that, and English is still important. I know that is one of the challenges that I had when I was teaching English to such students. Why we have to do English? What does English have to do with us?
Thank you very much for that one. I could elaborate on that a bit more. For our students, all our programs at the division offer courses in English and math and computer literacy, let me put it that way. So, for example, an automotive student, that student is required to complete 2 semesters of English, Technical Communication 1 and Technical Communications 2. And that in these two subject areas or course areas, these students are exposed to technical writing. So they are prepared for the workplace in terms of report writing, technical writing, whether it be developing manuals and instructions in the area of specialization. So we do have courses built in the program to help students develop skills in these areas so that they can perform, or they have the competence. So once they go out there, they can perform and deliver a really good service. And we all at CFBC and the students themselves can feel proud that they had an education, or they were exposed to these areas that gave them the necessary tools and skill set to be able to perform at the highest level.
Right. Now, what are some of the institutions, educational institutions, that the TechVoc partner with?
CFBC as an institution has partnership with quite a number of institutions within the region, where we have memorandum of understanding. So I would just like to highlight a few of the ones that our students have been accessing within the last few years. So for example, there is a established relationship between CFBC and the University of the Virgin Islands. We have Monroe College, Midwestern State University, Western Illinois University is one that recently came on board. Of course, persons know that we have a very close partnership with the Nova Scotia Community College in Canada, where we have students who go on students exchanges there every year. UWI, some of the programs that we offer at the division were developed in partnership with UWI, although it's a regional entity such as the Caribbean Tourism Organization for Hospitality and Culinary Studies, and also with ACTI, the Association of Caribbean Tertiary Institutions, and UWI Mona Consulting to develop our IT program, which was done in 2008, and we've been offering it since then. These programs give our students, I would say, access to higher level education, universities such as UWI, and of course we offer UWI programs at CFBC, but we do have courses that give students access to higher level certifications at these institutions. So those are a few, but our students do matriculate in quite a number of universities and colleges in North America, Europe, and getting credits transfer as well. So we can go from Trent University in Canada, York University in Canada, just to name a few. And we have our students who access University of Central Florida as one that I know. So there are quite a number of institutions that our students access and are able to get into, they're matriculated into as a result of accessing our programs.
So the certificate or the diploma at TechVoc carries a lot of weight in terms of it can be used to gain work regionally, and it can be used to go further in terms of education.
That's correct. So what we like to say at TVEMS is that we give you the 3 for the price of 1. We believe in our program strongly, and we really celebrate our students who are out there in their various fields of or areas of specialization. And they are littered all over the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So it's usually a proud moment for us to engage them various walks in terms of our business ventures and otherwise. So our students, based on the courses that they take at the division, really prepares them for the world of work. For example, all our courses have a practical component to it. All our courses are credit courses, so they can be evaluated and assessed according to frameworks. And I say frameworks that are established within institutions and across various nations. And we also offer entrepreneurship courses as part of our program. So we are preparing our students for the world of work. For small businesses and developing their own craft. So with that kind of foundation, we are giving you that confidence to know that you can go out there and take advantage of what is there in our business environment, whether it be automotive, whether it be electrical, whether it be IT. And again, we do have students, that are taking these opportunities to start their own businesses because of the certification that they earned at the institution, but it's the confidence and the skills gained and being able to go out there and have that confidence to go and start their own businesses. And we do have young people who are doing that right now, so congratulations to them. And for those of you who are thinking about that kind of career, understand that we have these programs and courses at the division, so do not wait, as I said earlier, get on it. Get the application process going, log on online, www.cfbc.edu.kn, and access our application and submit our application today.
Dr. Rosen, how do you help students to make the decision whether they should enter to do A-levels, CAPE at ASGS, or they should get involved or enrolled in some associate degree program? For example, down at the technical division. For example, a student may come to the college and they want to be an engineer. That's what they want to be. How do you assist them? Do I do the A-level? Do I take the A-level option where I have to do pure math and advanced math and all of that? Or do I go to the technical division where I can do courses, for example, maybe in auto mechanic if I want to be, and things like that?
Okay, so prior to or any kind of general advisement session, we do have pre-orientation sessions as well as new student orientation sessions with the college counselor and the person who oversees the Department of Student Services. And the intention of these sessions is to chart the pathway for students. Students are sensitized about the various programs within the 5 divisions, and I know that sometimes they are exposed to testing that may further seek to educate them about the kind of trying to map their interests with career choices, as well as, okay, so I have these subjects, and case in point, we have had situations with where students have come and they say they want to do computer, they want to do a career in computer. But when we speak with them, we get a better understanding of what their career goals are. We understand that the program in the division of ASGS may not be best suited for them. And so, in addition to the pre-orientation and orientation sessions for new students, there is also a great level of collaboration among the deans. So, for example, the dean of ASGS will then communicate with the dean of TVEMS and say, Mr. Abraham, I have a student here who is more interested in pursuing computer as it relates to applications and software. So we would then guide the students to that particular division to have deeper dialogue with the dean. So it is a mixture of our already existing orientation sessions, as well as the collaboration that exists among the deans that facilitates the pathways. We have had situations where students, during their first year, they think this is what they want to pursue, and the advisors realize that something is awry, and so again the deans get involved, and the students are we really try to place them on the right track.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Rotham. We are going to take a break, and we will be back. Please stay tuned with us.
It's only just a phase. Once we're vaccinated, and everybody gon' be safe. Everybody gon' be safe. One kind, one people. We are roll up to roll up. Cause no man's alone. Do what's right. Cause I love you. Brother, my sister. And we're in this together. My sister, my brother. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much. I think it's better for us, yeah. It's better for us, yeah. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much, yeah. It's better for us. Tell your mommy to roll out.
Bless up. Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
I will take the vaccine because building defenses against COVID-19 is a team effort, and we are all a key part of that defense.
I definitely will be taking the vaccine when it's my turn.
I will be taking the vaccine as it is an important tool in the fight against the pandemic.
It is important for me to vaccinate to ensure that if I do become infected with the disease, it can prevent hospitalization. In addition, it also helps with herd immunity.
I will take the vaccine to protect myself, my loved ones, my clients, my co-workers, my community.
St. Kitts and Nevis, why do we need to vaccinate? Kenisha? So we can jab COVID-19 away.
It's only just a phase. Once we're vaccinated, and everybody gon' be safe. Everybody gon' be safe. One kind, one people. We are roll up to roll up. Cause no man's alone. Do what's right. Cause I love you. Brother, my sister. And we're in this together. My sister, my brother. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much. I think it's better for us, yeah. It's better for us, yeah. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much, yeah. It's better for us. Tell your mommy to roll out.
Bless up. Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Welcome back to Working for You. Thank you very much for staying with us. I have been joined by the Dean of the Division of Arts, Sciences and General Studies, Ms. Laverne Brooks, and the Dean of the Division of Adult and Continuing Education, Ms. Wanda Hughes. Thank you for joining us. And we'll continue the discussion in terms of the programs available at the college, the course prerequisites, the structure of the programs, the admission process, what the division expects, and so on, and the currency of the programs and how students can use their certification to move forward to higher education. So I want to start with the Dean of ASGS, as it is called, Ms. Brooks, to tell us about the programs that are available and the course prerequisites at ASGS.
Good afternoon. For the Division of Arts, Sciences and General Studies, what we do basically is that the students are admitted based on general admissions, and then we admit them to programs. Our programs are the business program, which include entrepreneurship, management, accounting, economics. Students can also do mathematics if they choose to do a degree in mathematics or the natural sciences. They could also do visual communications, and they can also do the humanities. And the humanities consists of a variety of areas, whether it be lit, law, history, sociology. And let me just say that the programs can be either certificate, diploma, or associate's degree. The certificate program is where the student would take two unit courses. So for example, a student may decide that I would only like to do sociology and history, so the student can take the 2 units of sociology, the 2 units of history, and they qualify for a certificate. The diploma requires that the student takes Caribbean Studies, Com Studies, and 2 unit courses. So if the student decides to take pure maths, the 2 units of pure maths, and the 2 units of maybe applied maths, so they qualify for the diploma. They can do it also in business, they could also do it in the visual arts. Then the associate's degree require much greater emphasis, where the student has to take the general studies courses, which include maths, depending on which associate's degree he or she is pursuing. They must do Caribbean Studies, Com Studies. Then they must do the core courses for that particular associate's degree, and then they're allowed to do electives and either business or humanities or a science subject. So it would come up to about 10 units for the associate's degree. What we do basically is that we do advisement. We try as much as possible to find out what type of subjects the student would be coming in terms of the CSEC subjects. Then we're able to better advise them, myself along with the advisors, as well as the subject lecturers, so that we could actually put the students in a much more comfortable position, so that he or she could be able to effectively complete the program within the 2 years. Sometimes they may want to go on for a 3rd year, and that is because they may need to do a smaller grouping of subjects so that they could matriculate at a much later date. But generally, the associate's degree, the certificate, the diploma, it is generally 2 years. And that is what we usually do in relation to the students. Each subject, most of them, they have what we call prerequisites. So if you're going to do pure maths, you must pass maths. If you're going to do accounting, you must have accounting, economics, mathematics. History, of course, you have to have O-level history. Sociology requires social studies or history. The sciences, you must pass the sciences in order to take the sciences. And so we try as much as possible to get our students to understand that there are prerequisites. There are some subjects that do not have prerequisites, and so they're allowed to do those subjects also. But generally, once you want to go into the associate's degree, you must comply with the prerequisites that are required for the particular subject areas.
Okay. Now what are some of the expectations at the division?
As it relates to ASJS, we're expecting that the students will understand that when they enter, we will explain to them that there is a transcript, so they're going to be doing what we call coursework. And they need to pass the coursework. The coursework is part of their transcript as they go off to university. Also, they also do what we call SBAs, or internal assessment. Those are what are required by CXC as part of the subject area. Sometimes the SBAs or IAs are like 60%, 40%, 20%. It depends on the subject area. And so students need to recognize that without an SBA or an internal assessment, you get ungraded. So their students need to recognize that they need to help us to help them. And so we all are also asking the parents too to come on board to assist us with the students, because there are times when students would say, I didn't know how to do an SBA. And even though they were told from the inception, they would have had the syllabus, the course outline, and so we are asking the parents or the guardians to try as much as possible to impress upon the students that the coursework is important as well as the internal assessments.
Now, what currency, Ms. Brooks, does the programs have? The associates, you mentioned there's an associate degree, you mentioned there's a diploma, there's a certificate at the CAPE level. What currency do these have, and how can students use these certification to move forward to higher education?
In the Division of Arts, Sciences and General Studies, our examination body is CXC. And so for the students, the degrees are awarded based on the criteria that is set by CXC, which is the governing body. The students use them to matriculate into university and also for employment purposes. What we would like to see happen is that persons need to recognize that students who do a diploma and a certificate, generally they're doing 3 modules for each unit. And so when they require a transcript, they tend to get credits as they move along in terms of university, or if they go on to do any other form of studies. So they're generally given credits. And so the currency in terms of the CAPE A-levels, students are allowed to matriculate into university and also into the world of work.
Right. Now, Ms. Hughes, the Division of Adult and Continuing Education, and the word stress the adult and continuing education. Could you tell us what some of the programs are that are offered, the course prerequisites, the structures of the program, the admission process, divisional expectations, and so on?
Adult and continuing education is actually the one division in the college where there are no admission requirements. So it doesn't matter whether the person has no subjects, didn't finish high school, whatever the issue may be. The application process is the same as it is in all of the divisions. So they would go to the website, look for the link, apply, pay the fee, come in. They get an acceptance letter like everybody else. However, what they don't need is to have whether C6 subjects or anything else. We offer the two CXC programs. We offer CSEC, which would be the 5th form high school level. We offer 10 subjects, English and math, of course, human and social biology. Then we do POA, POB, EDPM, OA, and social studies. We also do IT. Then we offer 6 CAPE programs: accounts, entrepreneurship, tourism, sociology, history, and law. Our students do not necessarily come in to do a whole suite of subjects. We get students who come, sometimes they just need math, or they may need English. They're already working, and to be appointed, for instance, in government, if they don't have English, no appointment, so they will come and they would simply do English. And then we have other students who come and they spend 2 years and do 5 subjects or 6 subjects because they don't have anything at all. So we have different kinds of students. We also get students in high school, if the high school isn't offering a particular subject, or maybe because of the class they're in, they can't do a particular subject, they would come to ACE and do a subject. So our students are not necessarily adults. We also have short courses. The ones that are usually on the schedule are our baking courses. We have baking, cakes and cookies. Then we have cake decorating. And for the upcoming semester, we'll be doing breads and pastries. So these are standard courses. We simply cycle them throughout the year. We have computer for seniors that will also be offered in the upcoming semester. Our leadership course, which in a lot of ways is our flagship short course, that usually begins in November. So for persons who might want to apply for that one, they can wait until September, October to inquire about applications. So we have a range of short courses that they appear on the schedule, not necessarily every semester, but we have about 10 of them that we offer at different times. And again, no entry requirement. They come in. In ACE, everything we do is from scratch. You come in, if you have no knowledge at all, we start you from the beginning. If you have more knowledge, so that, for instance, we have a math course that's a 2-year course. So that caters for persons who've either been out of school for a very long time or they didn't do math at all. And then we have our exam prep course. So if you've been doing it, you've done the exam before and you failed it, so you want to do it again, you can actually do the exam prep course, which is, it can be 1 semester or it can be for the entire year. Or CSEC students write exams at the end of the first year, except for maths, like I mentioned. So basically they're in school September to May, and then they write the exam. And they tend to be successful. So no, they don't fail because they didn't spend 3 years. And then our CAPE students usually spend more than the usual 2 years, because of course they're working. So they do 2 units a year as opposed to 4 or 5. So they spend 3 years. The ones who do it quickly spend 3 years. Some of them spend the full 5 years in order to complete the entire program.
Ms. Hughes, your short courses, I think, can offer a lot to the population in areas that are very deficient. For example, public speaking. It is needed more than ever. And elocution. You know, we have a lot of people in our society who cannot speak publicly and speak well. It is a problem. And this is not to say that they don't have a degree or 2 degrees or things like that, but it is atrocious.
We do have effective public speaking in the list of courses.
Okay.
So we do offer it ever so often.
Okay. Okay, good. Now I know that the ACE or ACE offers another chance to people who somehow maybe they missed an opportunity and they want to improve themselves. And maybe you can speak to the encouragement that people should have, because sometimes people feel that maybe I'm finished with school, I didn't get the subjects that I wanted, and so therefore I just give up, I don't try again, I start to work, I start to make some money, and that's it. So there's really no need for me to get some English or to get some maths or things like that. They may not see it as to their benefit.
In St. Kitts, salaries tend to be tied to qualifications. So even if a person is working, steady job, without those qualifications, the person is either not going to climb the ladder or will climb the ladder but not get paid. And so certification is critical. What we often deal with are persons who think I've been out of school for so long, I can't do it. Or they think I left school and I didn't do it when I was in school, so I can't do it anymore. And those are persons who need to come to ACE, because we deal with those students all the time. Persons who, we have students, we routinely have students who are in their 40s, 50s. So they've been out of school for 25 years, 30 years, and they come and they do quite well. One of the students I like to talk about is somebody who, she actually was sent to the college because she was not being paid for what she was doing. And so her boss told her, you need to go and do something. So she came and she did some CSEC subjects, and when she came initially, I was encouraging her to do CAPE because she had all of that work experience, because we consider that in ACE. If you've been in the workplace for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, obviously you're not at fifth form level. So I tried to encourage her to move to the CAPE level. She didn't feel confident enough to do it, so she did some CSEC subjects. And then she moved to the CAPE level. She graduated this year. But interestingly, her workplace closed down while she was doing CAPE, and she was able to move straight into before she finished with the job that was closing down, she was in another one because of the certification. Mm-hmm. So that is something that's very important, and people need to understand, when you don't have certification, you're always at a disadvantage.
Yeah, and also too, you hear sometimes people say, oh, she's 60 years old, she's 70 years old. What is she doing going to a university?
And she has another 20 years to live or 25 years to live, so why not?
Right, so what's the point? You're 70 years old, you should be saying your prayers and preparing for death.
But there's also the
but
issue
you see, I believe, Ms. Hughes, that sometimes people think of education simply in terms of just earning money, youth, and so on, but it's about personal fulfillment and development, and we never stop learning.
There's also we've been getting students as well who come and they say, you know what, I'm going to retire in a few years, so I'm thinking about what I want to do when I retire. And so they come and they do something because they're toying with one of them.
A second career.
She said, I like to cook, so I'm thinking about maybe doing some catering. So she came and she did.
Or floral decoration or something like that.
So there are lots of reasons to access our courses. And of course, they're offered in the evening, 5 to 7. Our classes begin at 5. They run until as late as 8, but usually 7. And so they don't have to worry about, the clash with work. And one of the other things that we do is we sometimes get students who work on a shift system, and we try to accommodate them as much as possible.
We try to encourage education and certification and so on, but sometimes the message that you're seeing out there is that your certification and your education does not matter. When you see people without certification and without the level of education that you have, getting jobs without anything. And then you really question, so what does my certificate worth? What is it worth? What is my education worth? When you see other people who, for whatever reason, they're given jobs and they're square pegs in round holes. It sends a wrong message.
I always tell students to think about the ability to move. It's not about the job you have now. It's not about being in St. Kitts. It's about if, heaven forbid, Mount Lyamiga decided to erupt and we all had to move, would we be able to get jobs? And without that paper, when we get to Antigua or Jamaica or wherever, they're not going to hire us because we don't have any grandfather or uncle or anything.
And I'm not saying that people should not get jobs, but there's a system of meritocracy that somehow has just gone out the door. Right. We are going to go to the phone lines. I know we don't have much time left, maybe another 7 minutes or so, and to see if anybody wants to call and ask a question. Maybe you have some of your students listening, Ms. Brooks. The numbers to call are 466-2666, 466-2666, 662-8674, 662-8674, 767-4765, 767-4765, and 1-239-645-4500. We welcome your calls. Right, sometimes students have to start thinking from the high school before they get into the college. What would I really like to be? And to start to choose their subjects based on what they would like their career path to be. So that you don't choose a lot of subjects, EDPM and PE and all of those sorts of things. And then when you get to the college, you may not have the prerequisites. Dr. Rotha.
Yes. Let's start with that comment. I would like to appeal to parents as well as to, our school administrators. Let us focus on quality as opposed to quantity. I find that we are so caught up with, my child did 10 subjects and 15.
Oh, we have a call.
We have a caller?
Working for you, good afternoon. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, working for you.
Yeah, good afternoon. Leroy?
Good afternoon, sir.
Should I call you Leroy? You sound like a dean. No, okay. Let me turn the radio off. Because it's echoing back, sorry. Yeah, sorry about that, Leroy. Hello?
Yes, we're here.
Yeah, okay, good afternoon, everyone. I have a question to the principal of the college. Do you check the classrooms every morning to make sure that they have a teacher for the day? Because in the years gone by, a lot of teachers get away with that kind of behavior, absentee from work, in that same college. But they were still drawing money on mountain. So that's my question I have to ask about that. If you all check to make sure that the teachers are in front of the classroom teaching them every day. And my little suggestion is this. I would like you all to still continue the principle that was laid down to the St. Kitts Nevis Grammar School student. Because in those days, as long as a student of that St. Kitts Nevis Grammar School has on the grammar school uniform, they are well disciplined in the public. No misbehavior for them. Doesn't matter how bad they are. That school had some principle on them, and I would like you all to lay down that same principle at the college where you all are teaching, and make sure that those boys have their shirt in the pants and no pants drop down underneath the bottom. Those are my advice for you all for those students. Have a good day. Thank you very much. I listen over here.
Well taken. Would you?
So in response to the caller, just like with any other system, there are checks and balances. But we always need, Mr. Abrams spoke about accountability and responsibility. And the students are aware that they need to report. We are not going to walk around and check every classroom. This is higher education. And so the deans, there is always communication encouraged between students and their deans, so that if a teacher if a lecturer is consistently late, then a report is made. If there is no report, we do not know. And that is where, or absent, and that is where you have the whole mindset of being at a tertiary institution set in, as opposed to being at, say, a secondary school. At the end of the semester, there are evaluations that are done, and it is responsibility of students to make that note on the evaluation. So we look at it both ways. We can do when the students communicate, and sometimes because of the society in which we live and the concept of persons being a snitch, or individuals do not want to get involved, sometimes our own affairs end up being spoilt. So effective communication, and we will act on such, I should say, delinquent behaviors when they are reported.
Yes, there are some students who may not report if a lecturer is not coming, because of course they're glad for that. But there are others who are coming with some purpose and who definitely will say, because at the end of the day, the students must not be shortchanged. They must not be shortchanged. You are receiving your pay, and you are there to deliver to the students so that they can do their best. And you must turn up for work.
But let's go in addition to that, just like with any other organization, of course you have the delinquents, but then you have those who go above and beyond. And we do have lecturers like that at CFBC.
Yes.
The lecturers who work outside of the designated office hours and are
and
up.
deans,
And
those
yes,
we have here today.
Yes, to do what needs to be done.
Ms. Brooks, yes.
There is also the issue of accountability as it relates to the students. We have been having serious issues with students in terms of attendance and punctuality. And based on the students, the handbook, students should be 80% or more attendance. And these are the things that we as a body need to recognize. And we are also asking the parents to pay attention to your children or your ward. Find out if they have school, when they have school. You should be able to see the timetable. I mean, we say it is a college, but I mean, they live with you. And so you need to find out when they have classes, if they're home at 9 o'clock when they're supposed to be in class for an 8 to 10 class. Why are you home? If they say that, oh, well, the lecturer says she's not coming or whatever, it can't be every Tuesday or every Thursday. There must be an issue. And so we want to appeal to the parents to at least help us to help you. The students should be there 80% of the time, and that has to also do with registration for your overseas exams, and there are implications for that when they do not show up. And not only that, there are implications for your transcript and attendance going forward. And so we need to understand that there is, the students are also responsible.
We have another caller. Working for you, good afternoon. That call seemed to have been cut. Ms. Brooks, you can continue.
Yep, so I'm just saying that, and apart from the punctuality and coming to school 80%. There was also the issue of the uniform. There was a serious issue with the uniform. And we are asking the parents, you can't be dressed in a mini to come to school or a troop top as a skirt. You have to be properly attired to enter into the campus. And going forward, these are the things that we are saying that, you know, we're not playing school, we are having school. And so we are saying to you that we are sending out the prerequisites as it relates to what is required for the dress code.
I think that goes back to the whole issue. Dr. Rotham started by speaking in terms of the uniform, but some of them going to the college who are 18 years old, 19 years old, they feel as though they are young adults, and you mustn't be able to regulate whether they should wear a mini or not wear a mini because they're adults.
No, but it is the criteria. It is the criteria of the college that you come in the proper uniform. And so the students going forward for September must be dressed in the correct uniform. It cannot be that you come in a short skirt, a hot skirt. It's school keeping. That's the only thing we're keeping, school. And so we need to pay attention to those issues as we go along.
I remember a mother calling me at the college, concerned that the student had gotten 24%. That was their grade. And wondering what had happened. And she said, well, I really need to come to see you. So she came, and the daughter was there as well. And when I pulled out my attendance register and showed the mother that her daughter was hardly at class, the mother said to me, well, Susan, not the real name, huh? Where you just go every day, you leave in here for college. She didn't turn in work. She was not there for tests, and so on. The mother was not aware of that. She left home every day to go to the college, but she never reached class. Yeah, and these are some of the issues. Now, in terms of preparation for college, you know, there has to be some preparation for college.
Yes, I would have started by saying, you know, we need to pay attention to the quality of passes as opposed to the quantity. And so, as I said, appealing to parents, school administrators, let us focus on the subjects that students need to pursue in order to become meaningful citizens. We see students coming to the college, they don't have English, they don't have math, because teachers don't believe that they will pass the subject. Those things should be basic. When they come to the college without these tools, what are we expected to do? So many times we're expected to make gold out of straw. And so we are asking that there is a greater level of diligence as it relates to mapping courses and subjects onto careers. So if they want to do architecture, they need to do physics. So it makes no sense saying to them, oh, physics is hard. You need to understand what it is you want to do and how much work you're willing to put into it. If you want to do foreign languages, why is it that you're not doing literature? You want to do medicine, you need to do your mathematics, your chemistry, your biology, and your physics. You do not need physics at the advanced level, but you do need it at the CSEC level, the CSEC O level standard. So these are things we want to express. You know, we see students coming. It's not just about passing a subject, but there are certain subjects that facilitate a greater level of critical thinking. And so they come. Nobody wants to do history. Nobody wants to do any foreign languages. And even as it relates to the technical subjects, I mean, no longer is automotive arts dealing with grease and grime. We are talking about technology. So it's the automotive aspect of it coupled with information technology, so that we need to start having that dialogue and think seriously about how subjects are chosen in schools and what subjects the students decide to pursue.
I totally agree with what you have said. I mean, English is basic.
It's basic.
Well, it's not so basic now.
Say to the general public as it relates to ASGS, there are some students who are not interested in doing an associate's degree. Some are interested in doing a certificate because they want to matriculate, because the university that they're looking to enter into would have asked that they have 2 A-levels, so they just want to do the certificate program. That is quite fine. Then there are those who, they're not interested in doing an associate's degree, they just want to do the diploma, which is the 6 units. Then there's some persons who just want to do A-levels. That is okay, we accommodate that also. And then there are those who wish to do the associate's degree. So there is something for everyone who wish to enter into the division of ASGS.
Right.
So the associate's degree is not the only program that we offer in terms of accreditation.
One of the things I'd like to say is we have a lot of students who leave 5th form and they go to work. They may have the entry requirements for ASGS, but for whatever reason, they need to work, and so they go to work. And those students really should think in terms of applying and coming to ACE, because ACE would allow them to acquire the advanced proficiency subjects, even though they're working full-time. And we haven't had a lot of students take advantage of that. We've had 1 or 2. They leave 5th form, they go to work, they come, they do it part-time. In 3 years, they have the same qualification as an ASGS student. So that is something that parents probably can think about. If my child has to work or wants to work, there's no reason why he or she cannot also go to the college and get some upper level qualifications.
And we do have a lot of good students. I think we have, there are a few delinquent ones, but the majority of them that I have encountered at the college, they do really have a desire to do well and to excel. And I can tell that from their work, what they produce, their results, and things like that. Like this past semester, you know, I had a group that they had very good attendance and participation, did their work and so on. So they are good students, very, very good students. And of course you have a few rotten apples, but you know, that's how it is, I think, in any institution.
Students who pursue maybe just the certificate or the diploma, a number of them have been complaining that, you know, they go to work and then they get less pay than a person with an associate's degree. I want to appeal to the employers to try and understand that they're doing A-levels, and some persons, the qualifications, you need to look at what they would have done in terms of the subject area, and so that they can be remunerated in the same way. Because a number of them, some may come to do accounting, for example, and that student would do 3, well, if they do the two units, they would have done 6 courses, basically. And they would say, but we get less pay than the person with so-and-so. So what I'm saying to the employers is that you need to, if there is an issue, that you reach out to us and allow us to explain and provide evidence as to what the students would have done in school. And so we ask again that they also be considered as it relates to their qualifications.
Yeah, sometimes it has nothing to do with what you've done in school. You're not getting the point. There's more that meets the eye when it comes to that. Enough said on that. We're out of time. I want to thank all of you for coming today. I want to thank first the Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs, Dr. Moya Rotham. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the service that you're providing to the college, especially at this time when they are without a president. I thank Ms. Laverne Brooks, the new Dean of the Division of Arts, Sciences, and General Studies, who has had many years in education. She's an educator at heart. I have worked with her, and I can attest to that. Ms. Wanda Hughes, the Division of Adult and Continuing Education, Dean, and before that, she was Dean of ASGS. Mr. Andrew Abraham, who is the Dean of the Technical Vocational Education and Management Studies. Thank you very much for coming and sharing with us. And Mr. Randolph Taylor, who filled in for Dean Joycelyn Archibald Pennyfeather, the Division of Teacher Education. I want to thank all of you very much for coming. It's always a pleasure to have you here on this program speaking about education. We need more of that discussion in our society. So thank you so much. Thank you to all of our listeners to today's program and our callers to today's program. Next week, we'll be back with another edition of Working for You. Until then, take good care and be safe.